Adana arrived home 2 hours earlier than usual from work. She had bought a cake and red wine, intending to surprise her husband, Emeka. Opening the door, she found the living room empty. From the bedroom, she heard the hushed voice of her mother-in-law, Mama Ngozi. The other one needs to get into a private primary school. The tuition is hundreds of thousands of naira a year. You cannot neglect that. Her father-in-law, Papa Chike, sighed. How will we explain it to Adana? What if she finds out? Even if she finds out, so what? Mama Ngozi's voice was as dismissive as ever. The twins are 6 years old. Would she let her children grow up without a father? Adana stood outside the door, the cake slipping from her hands and crashing to the floor. The cream and strawberries splattered, mirroring her shattered heart. That night, Emeka returned as if nothing had happened. He kissed her forehead and handed her a necklace box. "My dear, happy 7th anniversary." She stared at his gentle smile, recalling what she had heard earlier. She felt nauseous. The whole family knew. Only she was ignorant. He had another family, another child, and she was the only fool in this household. At 3 a.m., the alarm clock rang. Adana blindly reached for the clock to turn it off, lingering in bed for another 3 minutes. This was the only time in the whole day that was truly hers. 3 minutes when she wasn't a wife, a mother, or a daughter-in-law. At 6:33 a.m., she got up and quietly got ready. The woman in the mirror was 35 years old, with fine lines already appearing at the corners of her eyes, but her skin was still smooth, a result of monthly spending at the beauty salon. In the master bedroom, her husband Emeka was still asleep, lying on his side, breathing steadily. The morning sun streamed through the gap in the curtains, hitting his face. That face was still handsome. They had been married for 7 years. His hairline had receded slightly, but he maintained a good physique, going to the gym 3 times a week. Adana watched him for a moment, then went to the children's room. Her twin sons, Ken and Chima, were still sound asleep, their 6-year-old faces identical, with long eyelashes. Adana's heart softened. She leaned down and kissed their foreheads. "Mama, I'm sleepy," Kene mumbled. "Sleep some more. It's early," Adana whispered. In the kitchen, her mother-in-law, Mama Ngozi, was already preparing breakfast, the jollof rice simmering in the pot and the aroma of fried eggs filling the air. "Good morning, Mama," Adana said, rolling up her sleeves. "I'll handle this. Just go wake the children," Mama Ngozi said, without turning around. "They have an activity at kindergarten today. They might be late." Her tone was normal, but Adana sensed a slight irritation. Her mother-in-law was always like this, polite yet distant. There was always a barrier. In 7 years, they had never argued, but they had never become close either. At 7 a.m., the whole family was seated at the dining table. Emeka was reading the news on his phone. His father-in-law, Papa Chike, was reading the newspaper. The twins were happily chatting about a drawing contest at kindergarten. "Papa, can you watch us at the contest?" Kene asked. Emeka looked up and smiled apologetically. "Sorry, sons. Papa has a meeting today. Next time, I promise." "You always say, 'next time,'" Chima said, pouting. "This time it's true," Emeka said, ruffling his son's hair. "Tonight, Papa will take you to a nice restaurant. Would you like that?" "Yes." The 2 boys immediately cheered up. Adana watched the scene, and that strange feeling resurfaced in her heart. Emeka was a good father, or so it seemed to others. But in the last 6 months, his absences had become more frequent. Parent-teacher meetings, family days, weekend outings. There was always an excuse. "My dear, you look pale," Emeka suddenly said. "Perhaps just not enough sleep," Adana said, taking a spoonful of rice. "Don't overwork yourself." "Leave some things to others at the office," Emeka said, putting fried eggs on her plate. "You're a manager now. You don't have to do everything." She knew. Adana was a middle-level manager at a multinational company, and her salary was good. When she got pregnant, her in-laws advised her to resign, saying the Reyes family could easily support her. She refused, insisting on working. Because of this, her relationship with her mother-in-law remained cold. After dropping off the children, Adana drove to the office. While stopped at a traffic light, she noticed a long strand of green, slightly curly hair on the passenger seat. It wasn't hers. She picked up the hair and stared at it for a long time. Emeka didn't allow female colleagues to ride in the passenger seat. He had said that before. Whose was it? Her cell phone rang. It was Emeka. "My dear, I might be home late tonight." "Client dinner." "Okay. Don't drink too much." "I know. I love you." After hanging up, Adana wrapped the hair in a tissue and put it in her bag. "Maybe it's just a colleague who hitched a ride," she told herself. "Don't overthink things." But once the seed of doubt is planted, it will sprout and take root. After an afternoon meeting, Adana suddenly decided to go to Emeka's office. She rarely went there. Emeka also didn't like her visiting, saying it looked bad. The receptionist recognized her. "Ma'am Adana, are you looking for Sir Emeka? He left this afternoon." "Where did he go?" "I think he had a client meeting." The receptionist avoided her gaze. Adana nodded. "Thank you." She left. In the elevator, she met Emeka's assistant, Femi. "Ma'am?" Femi was startled. "Just passing by." Adana smiled. "He seems busy lately, huh?" "Yes, quite busy. Many projects." Femi couldn't look at her. It was too obvious. Adana's heart slowly sank. Even his assistant was covering for him. It was 10 p.m. when Emeka came home. He smelled of alcohol, but not too strongly. While he was showering, Adana checked his clothes. There was a trace of perfume on the collar of his shirt. Women's perfume. A sweet floral scent. It wasn't the brand she used. "My dear, please hand me a towel," Emeka called from the bathroom. Adana handed him the towel. Emeka took her hand, pulling her into the steamy bathroom. Amidst the steam, he kissed her, passionately, like when they were newly married. But Adana smelled the perfume emanating from his skin. "What's wrong?" Emeka felt her body stiffen. "Just tired." Adana pushed him away. A lot happened at the office today. Lying in bed, Emeka quickly fell asleep. Adana lay awake, staring at the ceiling. 7 years of marriage, 2 children, a seemingly perfect life. What if that hair, that perfume, those averted gazes were all just coincidences? She didn't want to think deeply. That weekend, her mother-in-law said they had a family reunion and would take the twins. Adana wanted to go, but Mama Ngozi said it was just for older people and they would feel awkward. "Just have Emeka pick you up later." No. Tita Amina's daughter will pick us up. We'll also have dinner there. Don't wait for us. Mama Ngozi was arranging the grandchildren's clothes. Adana was puzzled. Her mother-in-law rarely invited her out with the children, and she deliberately excluded them this time. It was afternoon. Adana was alone at home, cleaning. In her mother-in-law's bedroom drawer, she found a bottle of medicine. Folic acid. Medicine for pregnant women. Her mother-in-law was 58. It was impossible for her to be pregnant. Who was this for? Adana held the bottle, her hands trembling. She remembered last month. Her mother-in-law had said she would take care of a sick friend. She was gone for 3 days. When she returned, a flyer for a baby store fell out of her bag. She said it was just handed to her on the street. All the pieces began to fit together, but she needed evidence. Direct evidence that couldn't be denied. On Monday, Adana took leave and went to a telecommunications company. Her and Emeka's mobile plan was a family plan, and the main line was in her name. Using the excuse that she had forgotten her password, she obtained the call log for the last 6 months. One number appeared frequently, almost every day. The calls weren't long, but they were regular. 8 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 9 p.m. Adana wrote down the number and searched for it on social media. The profile picture was a woman with her back turned. The name Ithioma. The profile was private, but the cover photo was a close-up of clasped hands. The man's hand with a watch on his wrist that was exactly like Emeka's. A limited edition watch. She had given it to him for his birthday last year. Adana sat in the telco lobby, her whole body cold. The air conditioning was strong, but she was sweating. 7 years, 2 children. The happy family she thought she had was a big lie. Her cell phone rang. It was Emeka. "My dear, what do you want to eat? I'll come home early tonight to cook." His voice was still as gentle as ever. Adana opened her mouth, but no words came out. She wanted to ask who that woman was, who that child was, how long they had been together. If the whole family knew? But in the end, all she could say was, anything. What's wrong? Your voice is different. I just have a cold, Adana said. All right, I'll hang up now. I'm busy. She needed time. She needed to plan. She needed to think about what to do next. As she drove home, Adana cried nonstop, silent tears, her vision blurred. She remembered their wedding day. Emeka had said he would love her forever. She remembered when the twins were born, and she almost bled out. He was crying outside the delivery room. She remembered every anniversary, the surprises he had prepared. Was it all fake? The affection, the promises, the days and nights? Or perhaps he loved them both and wanted two families? Adana wiped her tears. No, this couldn't be. She needed to know the whole truth. Then she would make a decision. In the following days, Adana acted as if everything was normal. She worked, took care of the children, and managed the house. But she began to be observant of conversations at home, watching every expression. Her mother-in-law would move away when answering the phone. Her father-in-law would look at her with a hint of guilt. Emeka's cell phone was always face down. Friday night, as the family watched TV, Emeka's cell phone rang. He looked at it and put it down. Who was that? Adana asked casually. Sales agent. Annoying, Emeka said. That sales agent must be very persistent. You hung up? Still ringing. Yes, indeed. Emeka stood up. I'm going to shower. He left his cell phone on the sofa. Adana stared at the black device as if looking at a bomb. She knew the password. All of Emeka's passwords were the twins' birthday. She could open it any time to see what Ifeoma had sent. But she didn't. Not because of fear, but because she wasn't ready to face it yet. Saturday, Adana said she had overtime at work. She left early. She drove to a subdivision in Lagos. That was the address registered with that number. The subdivision was beautiful, with well-maintained landscaping. Adana parked her car on the side of the road and waited. She didn't know what she was waiting for. Perhaps a shadow, a proof. Around 5 p.m., she saw Emeka's car enter the subdivision. The guard let him straight in. In the passenger seat was a woman. Green, curly hair, beautiful face from the side. Adana gripped the steering wheel tightly, her nails digging into her palm. It hurt, but not as much as her heart. She watched the car disappear between the buildings. Then she started her own car and drove away. No tears, no shouts. A strange calm. It was time to confront, but not now. A day before their 7th anniversary, Adana went to a law firm. She consulted about divorce, property division, and child custody. After listening to her story, the barrister advised her to gather more evidence first. What your husband did is a big mistake, in your favor. That's for property division and custody. I want custody of my children, Adana said. For twins, it's often divided. One to each parent. But if you have evidence of the other party's misconduct and sufficient financial capability, you can fight for it. I will get evidence. Leaving the law firm, Adana went to the bank. She transferred all her personal savings to a new account. It was her savings from many years of work. She didn't touch the money in their joint account. If she touched it now, Emeka would notice. That evening, she went to her parents' house. She didn't tell them the truth, only saying she missed them. Her mother cooked a delicious dinner. Her father brought out his favorite palm wine. Where's Emeka? Why isn't he with you? Her mother asked. Overtime, Adana said, pouring wine into her father's glass. Papa, just in case we separate, would you support me? Her parents froze. Daughter, what are you talking about? Her mother stroked her hand. You two are fine. Why would you separate? Just asking. Her father looked at her. Adana, did Emeka hurt you? No, Papa. Adana bowed her head and ate. I'm just tired these past few days. I'm thinking all sorts of things. That night, she slept at her parents' house, lying in the bed where she grew up, staring at the ceiling. Her tears finally fell. She remembered when she was a child, her father had said, Daughter, when you look for a husband, choose someone kind to you. She had seen Emeka. She thought he was kind to her. Now she knew he was kind to many people. The next day, their anniversary, Adana took leave. She bought a cake and red wine. She didn't know why she bought them. Perhaps to give their marriage a decent end. Then she came home early and heard that conversation. Her mother-in-law's voice. Her father-in-law's sigh. The existence of another child. The hundreds of thousands in tuition fees. All doubts, all suspicions were confirmed. The moment the cake fell to the floor, Adana felt her heart crumble. But she didn't go in to confront them. She didn't cry or make a scene. She just stood quietly outside, listening to the conversation inside. "I'll handle Adana," she heard Emeka's voice. He was also home. "She won't find out." "You can't hide fire in paper," her father-in-law said. "We'll hide it as long as we can." Emeka sighed. "I can't do anything about Ifeoma. That's my child. I have to take responsibility." Adana turned and slowly left. Outside the building, the sunlight was blinding. She stood under the sun, but her whole body was cold. So that was it. Another family, another woman, another child. The whole family knew. Her in-laws knew. Perhaps even her sister-in-law. Only she was the fool who knew nothing. That night, Emeka came home. He handed her the necklace. He spoke sweet words. Adana looked at him and suddenly felt revulsion. This man, this face, these hands, he embraced her, and also embraced another woman. He told her, "I love you," and told it to another woman too. She accepted the necklace and thanked him. Then she showered. Under the stream of water, she silently cried. After showering, she sat in front of the mirror, staring at herself. 35 years old. 2 children, a career, and a seemingly perfect family. Now this family would crumble. But it couldn't just be destroyed. She had children to protect, a future to fight for. Adana opened a drawer and took out a notebook. She started writing a plan. First step, gather evidence. Second step, ensure financial security. Third step, find a good barrister. Fourth step, confront. But most important of all were the children. The twins were her life. She couldn't lose them. When Emeka entered the room, Adana was already lying down. "My dear, are you asleep?" he asked softly. "Not yet." Emeka lay down and embraced her from behind. Adana's body stiffened, but she didn't push him away. "New project at the office." "I might be busy," Emeka said. "I might also need to work overtime on the weekend. Sorry, we didn't celebrate our anniversary properly." "It's okay," Adana said. It truly was okay. Because from now on, her marriage was dead. In the darkness, Adana's eyes were wide open. She remembered when they were dating. Emeka picked her up from work every day. She remembered when he proposed, his hands trembling nervously. She remembered when their children were born. He hugged her and said, "Thank you for your hardship." Those beautiful memories were now daggers, one by one slicing into her heart. But she couldn't collapse. For her children, she had to be strong. The next day, Adana filed for annual leave. She said she wanted to take the children on vacation. Emeka didn't suspect anything. He even gave her his credit card. "Enjoy yourselves with the children. If you need more, just tell me." Adana accepted the card, a bitter laugh in her mind. Perhaps this was his way of making amends for his guilt, but she didn't need that. What she needed was truth, evidence, and the strength to fight. Adana took the twins to a nearby resort in Calabar. At the hotel, she sent a text to that number. "I am Emeka's wife. Let's talk." No answer. Adana had expected it. She began to organize the evidence she had. Screenshots of call logs, screenshots of the woman's social media, a photo of the folic acid in her mother-in-law's drawer, and the photo of Emeka's car outside the subdivision. It wasn't enough yet. She needed more direct evidence to prove Emeka had another family, to prove his misconduct. After 3 days at the hotel, Adana returned home with the children. Everything was normal, but she knew something had completely changed. She began to pay attention to the family's assets. The house title was in both her and Emeka's names, but the down payment came from her in-laws. The car was in Emeka's name. Most of their savings were in a joint account. If they separated, how much would she get? And more importantly, the children. Emeka wouldn't easily give up custody, especially of the twins. They were considered the pride of the Reyes family. Adana researched online. She asked lawyer friends. The conclusion: if she could prove Emeka's serious misconduct and her financial capability was sufficient, she had a good chance of getting custody of the twins. Financial capability was not a problem. Her job was stable, her salary good, and she had her own savings. Evidence of misconduct. She needed more. A week later, the opportunity came. Emeka said he had a business trip for 3 days. Adana checked his flight information. He indeed had a flight, but she still drove to the airport. Waiting in the parking lot, Emeka's car arrived. In the passenger seat sat that woman. This time, Adana saw her face clearly. Young, perhaps around 28, beautiful and demure. Adana followed inside, maintaining a distance. Emeka and the woman had no physical contact, but they walked side by side, whispering, like an understanding couple. While checking in, the woman handed her ID. Adana took a photo of it from a distance with her cell phone. She zoomed in on the photo and saw the name Ifeoma Okoro. It was her. Adana didn't continue. She left the car. She cried for a long time. The last thread of hope was broken. Emeka and this woman were truly together. They were even going on a business trip together. Upon returning home, Adana started to act. She hired a private investigator to investigate Ifeoma. The money came from her own account. No traces should be left. 3 days later, the investigator sent the report. Ifeoma Okoro, 28, freelance illustrator. Met Emeka 4 years ago. 3 years ago, she gave birth to a daughter, now 2.5 years old. Emeka bought her a condo in Lagos, named after Ifeoma. He gives her a 100,000 allowance every month. The child attends a private preschool with a tuition fee of 500,000 a year. The report included photos. Photos of Ifeoma and her child. Photos of Emeka carrying the daughter. Photos of the 3 of them in a park. In the photos, Emeka's smile was genuinely happy. A smile Adana hadn't seen in a long time. So he wasn't busy with work, not stressed. He was just giving his time and his smile to another family. Adana stared at the photos, her heart numb. When the pain is extreme, you no longer feel it, she continued reading. Ifeoma's social media account was blocked to her, but open to others. The investigator obtained screenshots. There were photos of Emeka with his daughter on her birthday, photos of them traveling together, photos of Emeka cooking in the kitchen late at night. The captions were always warm. Hubby is tired, but thankfully you're here, our little family. Adana remembered that when she posted, Emeka rarely liked or commented. He said he wasn't big on cell phones. He wasn't big on them. He just didn't want to appear in her life. At the end of the report was Emeka's bank statement. Every month, there was a regular transfer to Ifeoma. The amounts varied. There was also a large expense, the purchase of a car for Ifeoma. Adana calculated. In 4 years, Emeka had spent no less than 20 million on the other family, and she still thought he was working hard. She was saving, wanting to accumulate for a bigger house. What a massive irony. She closed the report. Adana sat in the dark. Outside, the city lights. Every lit window was a family. She used to have a family too. Only now did she realize it hadn't been whole for a long time. The day Emeka returned from his business trip, Adana cooked a delicious dinner. The twins were delighted, recounting what had happened in the past few days. Emeka brought gifts for the children and a new dress for Adana. "Thank you." Adana took it and set it aside. "You don't like it?" Emeka asked. "I do," Adana said. "Let's eat." At the dining table, Emeka recounted how successful the business trip had been. He said he secured a big contract. Adana just listened, wondering if Ifeoma was part of the celebration. Night fell, the children were asleep. Adana was in the study room, organizing documents. Emeka entered. "My dear, you must be tired these past few days." He embraced her from behind. Adana's body stiffened. "It's fine." "Is something wrong?" Emeka felt her change. "Nothing." Adana pushed him away. "Just tired." Emeka looked at her. complicated emotions in his eyes. For a moment, Adana thought he would confess, but in the end, he only said, "Get some rest." Adana knew he wouldn't confess. He wanted 2 families, 2 women, 2 sets of children. He was enjoying the situation. Why would he ruin it? If so, she would ruin it. From that day on, she secretly began preparing for an escape. The twins' passports, birth certificates, her bank statements, and copies of all evidence were hidden in a safety deposit box at the bank. She resigned from her job, using up her remaining leave and sick leave to prolong her stay. No one noticed anything unusual. Emika's other child was hospitalized. He didn't come home for 3 days. Her mother-in-law let it slip. Poor child. Always sickly. Her father-in-law gave her a stern look, but it was too late. Adana smiled as she packed the twins' belongings. "Mama will take you to a beautiful resort in Aqua Ibom. Would you like that?" They cheered with delight. She took one last look at this house where she had lived for 7 years. Taking her children, she left without looking back. She turned off her cell phone, cutting off all means of communication. 3 hours later, Emika called her mother-in-law's cell phone, furious. Adana and the children were gone, and she was at the airport on the other side of the country, holding 3 tickets to Calabar. From now on, they were a new use. As the plane took off, Kenny and Chima excitedly peered out the window, watching the clouds. Adana sat in the middle, embracing her 2 sons. Her heart was peaceful, a feeling she hadn't felt in a long time. "Mama, how many days will we be there?" Chima asked. "Until you get tired of it," Adana said. "What about Papa? Isn't he coming?" "Papa is busy with work," Adana stroked her son's hair. "Isn't it enough to have Mama with you?" "It's enough," the 2 children said in unison. Adana smiled. Amidst the smile, her eyes welled up. She remembered the photo in the investigator's report, where Emeka was with his other child at a resort. Now it was her turn to take her children to a place free of lies. When the plane landed in Calabar, it was evening. Adana took the children to a hotel suite she had already booked. It was close to the beaches, so they could go there first thing in the morning. After bathing and putting the children to bed, Adana opened her newly bought cell phone and inserted a new SIM card. The old cell phone was already off and thrown into a trash can at the airport. On the new cell phone, there was only one contact. Her barrister, Barrister Obi. Barrister Obi. "We've arrived," she texted. "Good. Follow the plan. Call immediately if there's a problem." Adana put down the cell phone and went to the balcony. The night in Calabar was warm and humid. The air felt good on her face. She took a deep breath, savoring the long-lost freedom. Meanwhile, in Lagos, everything was chaotic. Emeka came home at 8 p.m. He had just come from the hospital. Ifeoma's child had a high fever, and he had been watching over her for 3 days, tired but relieved. He had taken care of both families. Opening the door, the house was dark. "Adana, children," he shouted. No one answered. He turned on the light. The living room was impeccably clean. On the table was a piece of paper. Adana's handwriting. "Emeka, I've taken the children for now. Don't look for us." That was all. No destination mentioned, no return date. Emeka was alarmed. He called Adana's cell phone. Off. He called his in-laws. They said they didn't know. He called Adana's friends. They said they had no contact. He felt a bad premonition. He ran into the bedroom and opened the closet. Adana's frequently worn clothes were gone. The twins' suitcases were missing too. He went to the study room. Adana's important documents were gone. Their marriage certificate was still there, but Adana's passport was gone. Emeka sat down, his mind blank. Adana knew. When did she find out? How much did she know? His cell phone rang. It was his mother, Mama Ngozi. "Emeka, are Adana and the children with you? Her cell phone is off. I can't reach her." "She left a letter. She said she took the children." Emeka's voice was dry. "What?" Mama Ngozi screamed. "Where did they go? When are they coming back? Why didn't you stop her?" "How could I stop her? I didn't even know she was leaving. Is it because she found out about that?" Mama Ngozi whispered. Emeka was silent. Other than that, there was no other explanation. After hanging up, Emeka leaned back in the chair. In the past years, he had been careful. He thought he balanced everything well. Adana was obedient. Ifeoma was understanding. No trouble on either side. He even thought that when his daughter with Ifeoma got a little older, he would find an opportunity to gradually make Adana accept the situation. Now, it was all over. Ifeoma called. Her voice was crying. "Emeka," the doctor said she needs to be admitted. "I'm scared to be alone." "I'm coming," Emeka said. Are you okay? Your voice is different." "I'm fine." Emeka rubbed his temples. "I'm coming." After hanging up, he stared at the empty house. For 7 years, this place had always been warm. There were children's laughter, Adana's shadow. Now he was alone. He remembered Adana's last look at him. Calm, but cold. It wasn't calm. It was surrender after hopelessness. Emeka took his car keys and ran out. He wanted to go to the hospital, but he wanted to find Adana more. But where to look? Where would Adana go? To her parents' house? To friends? Or had she found out about Ifeoma and was looking for her? Thinking this, Emeka suddenly swerved the steering wheel and drove towards Lagos Island, towards the subdivision where Ifeoma lived. When Ifeoma opened the door, she saw Emeka's pale face and was startled. "Emeka, what happened?" Emeka entered and looked around. No sign of Adana. Did she come here? Adana? Your wife? No, Ifeoma said, confused. Why would she come here? Emeka breathed a sigh of relief, but his heart felt even heavier. Adana didn't look for Ifeoma. Where did she go? Taking the children, cutting off all communication. This was a sign of permanent departure. What happened? Ifeoma held his hand. Adana left with the children. I don't know where. Emeka sat down, stunned. Ifeoma knew Emeka had a family, but she never thought his wife would just disappear. As far as she knew, that wife should be weak, obedient, and wouldn't fight back. Did she find out? Ifeoma whispered. Perhaps. What do we do? Emeka shook his head. He also didn't know what to do. Report to the police? Adana was the children's mother. Leaving with her children was not a crime. Hire a private investigator? It would take time, and if Adana was hiding, she would be difficult to find. His cell phone rang again. It was his father, Papa Chike. Come home immediately. Your mother fainted. When Emeka arrived home, Mama Ngozi was lying in bed, her face pale. Papa Chike sat beside her, his face serious. What happened? Emeka asked. Look at what you've done. Papa Chike glared at him. I told you long ago you couldn't hide it. Now Adana has left. She even took the children. Papa, saying that won't help now. We need to find her. Find her? Where? Adana may seem quiet, but she's stubborn. If she's determined to leave, no one will find her. Mama Ngozi woke up and held her son's hand. Emeka, you have to find my grandchildren. They are Reyes' blood. I know, Mama, Emeka said. But how? Adana's social circle was simple. Parents, a few friends, colleagues. Emeka called them one by one. The answer, they didn't know. Adana's parents truly didn't know. Adana had only said she was going on vacation with the children. She hadn't said where or when she would return. Emeka, did you hurt Adana? Her father-in-law asked on the phone, his tone tight. No, Papa. No? Why would she suddenly leave with the children without even letting us know where? Her mother-in-law snatched the phone. Emeka, I'm telling you, if anything bad happens to Adana, I will not forgive you. Emeka hung up. His head ached. Adana's parents didn't know. Her friends didn't know. Her colleagues said she was on leave. All leads were gone. It was night. Emeka was alone in the living room. He remembered the past 7 years. Adana was a good wife, a good mother. She took care of the family, supported his career, never complained. And what did he give her? Lies, betrayal, another family. Now she had left with the children. This was the punishment he deserved. But they were his children. He couldn't lose them. Kene and Chima, the twins he raised, his pride. Emeka took his cell phone and called a private investigator friend. Help me find someone. Urgent. Who? My wife. With my 2 children who went missing this afternoon. The person on the other end of the line was silent. Emeka, your wife has only been gone for less than 24 hours. The police won't consider it a missing person case yet. That's why I'm calling you, Emeka said. Money isn't a problem. Just find them immediately. Okay, send me the details. After hanging up, Emeka began to collect Adana's information. SSS number, passport number, cell phone number, car plate number. Only now did he realize how little he knew about Adana. He didn't know who her friends were, where she liked to go, what she did when she was sad. 7 years of marriage, he just accepted what she did, but he didn't truly know her. At 3 a.m., the investigator texted, "Your wife's credit card had a transaction at the airport this afternoon. Bought 3 tickets to Abuja." Abuja? Emeka's mind sharpened. Adana went to Abuja with the children? Can you find out the specific flight? Still checking. It will take time. Emeka couldn't wait. He immediately booked the earliest flight to Abuja. The flight was at 6 a.m. While packing, Emeka hesitated. Should he tell Ifeoma? Her child was still in the hospital. In the end, he just texted, "I have a business trip for a few days. Call if you need anything." Ifeoma didn't reply. At 5 a.m., Emeka was already at the airport. Before boarding, the investigator texted again, "I found out the tickets your wife bought were for Calabar, not Abuja." Calabar, a city in the south, far from Abuja. Why did she go there? Are you sure? Yes, sure. I've sent you the screenshot of the booking. Emeka stared at the screenshot. It was true. Adana's passport number and the destination was Calabar. He immediately changed his flight, but the earliest flight to Calabar was in the afternoon. Sitting in the departure lounge, Emeka called Adana's parents. He said Adana might have gone to Calabar. Calabar? What would she do there? Her mother-in-law asked. I don't know, Mama. Papa, if Adana calls you, please tell me immediately. The children can't grow up without a father. Only now do you realize children can't grow up without a father? Her father-in-law said coldly. What did you do before? He hung up. Emeka held his cell phone. His heart cold. Adana's parents used to be very fond of him. Now their attitude had changed. This meant Adana might have told them the truth. At 2 p.m., the plane took off and arrived in Calabar at 4 p.m. As soon as he landed, Emeka immediately opened his cell phone. There was a text from the investigator. Your wife checked into a hotel in Calabar. I'll send the address. Emeka hailed a taxi and went straight to the hotel. On the way, he imagined the scene when he saw Adana. He would apologize, explain, beg for forgiveness. He would say he loved her. He loved the children and couldn't lose them. Upon arriving at the hotel, Emeka went straight to the front desk. I'm looking for Adana Santos. She's with 2 twin boys. They should be checked in here. The receptionist checked. I'm sorry, sir, but there's no such guest here. Impossible. They just checked in. Sir, truly no. We don't have a guest with that name. Maybe she used a different name? Emeka froze. Adana would use a different name? Where would she get a different ID? The investigator called. Emeka, I found out your wife did book that hotel, but she didn't check in. She used your credit card to book. It might be a decoy. What do you mean? She might have deliberately used your card to book a hotel to send you to Calabar, but in reality, she's somewhere else. In anger, Emeka almost threw his cell phone. Adana was playing with him. She deliberately left a clue for him to chase her to Calabar while she was somewhere else. Where is she now? Still checking. Her cell phone is off, and the credit card is no longer in use. She's difficult to trace. Emeka stood in the hotel lobby, watching people pass by. He suddenly felt weak. Adana had a plan. She had planned this for a long time. Every step was calculated, and he, like a fool, was just following her wishes. It was getting dark. Emeka walked the streets of Calabar aimlessly. He didn't know where to look. He didn't know what Adana and the children were doing. Had they eaten? Were they sleeping well? Did the children miss their father? Emeka suddenly thought of a possibility. Did Adana go abroad? She had a passport. The children's passports were also taken last year, supposedly for future travel. If they went abroad, they would be harder to find. He immediately called the investigator. Check immigration records. Is there a record of Adana and the two children leaving the country? She would need clearance. I'll try. The wait was agonizingly long. Emeka booked a hotel and didn't sleep all night. He repeatedly recalled Adana's actions in the past months, looking for any signs. When did she start to doubt? When did she start to plan? Why didn't he notice anything? The next morning, the investigator called. I checked. There's no record of them leaving the country. Your wife and children are still in Nigeria. Emeka breathed a sigh of relief. They were still in Nigeria. There was still hope of finding them. But the investigator continued. I found out that, a month ago, your wife opened a safety deposit box at a bank. The address is here in Calabar. Calabar? A month ago? Adana went to Calabar a month ago? What's in the safety deposit box? I don't know. It requires a personal presence or authorization to open. Emeka immediately went to the bank. But as the investigator said, without authorization from Adana, he couldn't open the box. This was a clue. A month ago, Adana went to Calabar to open a safety deposit box. This meant she had planned her departure for a long time. If so, she might have a place to stay here in Calabar. Emeka began searching in Calabar. He went to real estate agents, asking if a woman named Adana Santos had rented or bought a house. He went to schools. He asked if a pair of twin boys had transferred. He found nothing. On the third day, Emeka was almost losing hope when the investigator provided another clue. I found out Adana has a cousin here in Calabar, Amaka Nwachukwu. They are said to be close. It's possible she went there. Emeka remembered Adana did have a cousin in Calabar, but they rarely saw each other. They met at their wedding, but after that, there was no communication. Send me the address. Emeka followed the address. An old apartment complex. He knocked on Amaka's door. A middle-aged woman opened it. Who are you? Is Amaka here? I'm Amaka. The woman's expression became alert. I'm Emeka, Adana's husband. Adana? I don't know her. She's your cousin. How can you not know her? Emeka said desperately. Amaka, I know Adana might have come here. Tell me where she is. She has my children. I told you I don't know her. Amaka was about to close the door. Emeka blocked the door. Amaka, please, let me see my children. I'm their father. I miss them. You miss them? Amaka laughed bitterly. Where were you when they missed you? With another woman. Emeka, Adana told me everything. You have another family and child. Only now do you remember you have children here? Emeka's face turned red. Adana had indeed told Amaka. That's a misunderstanding. I can explain. Don't explain anymore, Amaka said coldly. Adana isn't here, and I don't know where she is. Even if I did know, I wouldn't tell you. The door closed. Emeka stood outside. His last thread of hope crumbled. Adana had even talked to her cousin. This meant her plan was careful. It was possible she really wouldn't come back. Emeka stayed in Calabar for 2 more days. Every day, he waited outside Amaka's apartment, hoping to see Adana or the children. But the apartment was quiet. No one entered or left. On the 5th day, Amaka had to leave. His office was calling him. Ifeoma's child was also out of the hospital and needed care. Returning to Lagos, everything was the same, but it was different. The house was empty. No children's laughter, no Adana's shadow. Emeka sat on the sofa, staring at the once warm home. For the first time, he regretted. He made a mistake. A huge mistake. He thought he could have 2 families. Could balance 2 women. Now he had no family. Ifeoma's child needed a father. But Emeka's heart had flown to wherever his twins were. He took his cell phone and texted Adana's old number. Adana, forgive me. Where are you? Let me see our children. Please. Message sending failed. That number was no longer active. Emeka put down the cell phone, covered his face with both hands. Tears flowed from between his fingers. They were gone. They were completely gone. Spring arrived early in Calabar. It was only the end of February, and the trees were already blooming. Adana's rented apartment was in a nice community. It had a playground, swimming pool, and library. The twins quickly adjusted to the new environment. With Adana's help, They got into a good private school nearby. "Mama, why are we studying here in Calabar?" Kane asked. "Because Mama found a new job here." Adana stroked her son's hair. "Do you like it here?" "Yes. The new school is big, and the teachers are nice," Chima said. "But I miss Papa a little." Adana's heart ached. She knew the children would miss their father. It was inevitable, but she couldn't return them to an environment full of lies. "Papa is busy with work. When he has time, he will visit you," Adana lied. Once the children were settled, Adana began to take care of the legal matters. Barrister Obi flew from Lagos to Calabar, bringing the divorce papers. "Emeka has received the subpoena from the court," Barrister Obi said. "He agreed to divorce but is requesting custody of the children." "Impossible," Adana said firmly. "I know. We have enough evidence to prove his misconduct, and your financial capability is sufficient to take care of the two children." Barrister Obi opened the documents. "This is the list of assets. According to the law, you will get half." "All I want is what's due to me," Adana said. "He can have the house, but I want half of the savings and the money he gave to that woman. That was a transfer of conjugal property. I want to reclaim that." Barrister Obi nodded. "We are already gathering evidence. The house and car named after Ifeoma were bought using your conjugal property. We can demand that they be returned." Adana looked out the window. In the community, children were playing. Their laughter could be heard. Her children were downstairs, playing with new friends. A new life had begun. First week of March, first court hearing. Adana did not attend. Barrister Obi represented her. Emeka arrived with his lawyer. The hearing was heated. Emeka's lawyer insisted Emeka was innocent and requested custody of the twins. Barrister Obi presented the evidence: call logs, bank statements, photos of Ifeoma and her child, and Emeka and Ifeoma's flight records. Emeka turned pale. He hadn't expected Adana to gather so much evidence. "That evidence was not legally obtained," Emeka's lawyer argued. "Legally obtained and notarized," Barrister Obi said calmly. "And there is a witness who will testify that Mr. Emeka Reyes had another de facto marital relationship." "Witness?" Emeka froze. The door opened. Ifeoma entered. She looked at Emeka, complicated emotions in her eyes. Then she walked to the witness stand. "You?" Emeka couldn't believe it. "I'm sorry, Emeka," Ifeoma whispered. "They found me. They said if I didn't testify, they would charge me with bigamy. I can't go to jail. My child needs me." Emeka sat down in his chair. His last defense had crumbled. Ifeoma testified, admitting that she and Emeka had been together for 4 years and had a daughter. Emeka provided monthly support and paid for the child's education. They lived as husband and wife, and the neighbors thought they were legally married. The evidence was clear. The truth was clear. The judge adjourned the hearing and would issue a decision on a later date. Leaving the court, Emeka was surrounded by reporters. No one knew who leaked the news. The local media learned about the double-life divorce case. "Mr. Reyes, is it true you have 2 families? What do you say about your wife's actions? Whose child will you fight for?" Emeka pushed through the reporters and quickly left. For the first time, he felt what it meant to have his name ruined. Returning home, his parents were waiting. "How was it?" Mama Ngozi asked. Ifeoma testified. Emeka smiled bitterly. "We lost." "That shameless woman," Mama Ngozi cursed. "You fed her, supported her, and then she stabs you in the back." "Mama, enough," Emeka said tiredly. "I made the mistake. From the beginning, I was wrong." Papa Chike sighed. "Emeka, it's too late to say that now. What's important now is how we keep our grandchildren." "We can't get them anymore." Emeka shook his head. "Adana has enough evidence, and my misconduct is clear. The judge won't give me the 2 children." "Then fight for one," Mama Nosy said. "They're twins, 1 for each." "That's fair." "Fair?" Emeka wanted to laugh. Had he been fair to Adana? Had he been fair to Ifeoma? Had he been fair to his children? All he wanted now was a chance to see his children and apologize to them. A few days later, Barrister Obi called Adana. She said Emeka had agreed to the divorce and was relinquishing custody of the children. He was only asking for visitation rights. He's willing to give you the house and half of the savings. His only request is that you allow him to see the children, Barrister Obi said. Adana thought about it. Visitation rights are possible, but they must be under my supervision, and that woman and her child cannot be with them. We can write that into the agreement, and he needs to sign an agreement that he will no longer disturb my and my children's lives. First week of April, the divorce agreement was formally signed. Adana received half the value of the house, half of the savings, and a portion of the money Emeka had spent on Ifeoma's house and car. When Emeka signed, his hand trembled. 7 years of marriage ended. "Can I see the children?" he asked Barrister Obi. Miss Adana said that once the children have adjusted to their new environment, she will arrange your meeting. Emeka nodded, tears in his eyes. May. Adana bought a small condo in Calabar. Not big, but sufficient. The community was nice, and the school was good. The twins were used to their new life. They had new friends. They joined football and art class. They were happy every day. Every weekend, Adana took them to the beach. The children ran on the sand. Their laughter echoed with the sunlight. "Mama, look at the shell I found." Kene ran. "It's beautiful." Adana took the shell. "Mama, when are we going back to Lagos?" Chima asked. "Do you miss Lagos?" "Yes, I miss Grandpa and Grandma and Papa." Adana stroked her son's hair. "We'll go back in the summer." "Okay?" "Okay." Adana looked at her children, her heart full of gratitude. Thank goodness they were so resilient. Thank goodness they adjusted quickly. Thank goodness they remained happy and loving children. Last week of June, Adana arranged Emeka's meeting with the children at a family restaurant in Calabar. Emeka arrived half an hour early, nervous, his hands sweating. He repeatedly looked at his watch. He hadn't seen his children in 3 months. Had they grown taller, gained, or lost weight? Did they still remember their father? When Adana arrived with the children, Emeka's eyes immediately reddened. "Papa!" The twins ran and hugged him. Emeka embraced his 2 children, tears falling. He smelled his children, the scent that was familiar to him, the scent of home. "Papa, where did you go? You haven't visited us in so long," Kene asked. "Papa was busy with work." Emeka's voice was hoarse. "Mama said you're here in Calabar now. You can visit us often," Chima said. "Yes, children, Papa will visit you often." Emeka looked at Adana. "Thank you." Adana nodded and sat at another table, giving them space. Emeka played with the children. They ate ice cream. He told them what had happened in the past 3 months. He couldn't bring himself to ask how Adana was or what their future plans were. 2 hours passed quickly. Adana approached. "Children, it's time to go home." "Papa, when will you come back again?" Keen asked. "Next month." "Promise?" Emeka said. "Pinky promise?" "Pinky promise." The children said goodbye to their father and went with their mother. Emeka stood outside the restaurant, watching them walk away until they disappeared into the crowd. He took his cell phone and texted Adana. "Thank you. The children are well. You took good care of them," Adana replied. "They are my children." Short but clear. Her children. Always her children. Summer. Adana took the children to Lagos to visit their grandparents. Emeka also came. Under the supervision of Adana's parents, he spent a day with the children. Adana's parents were cold towards Emeka, but for the children, he was still allowed to visit. "What are your plans for life?" her father-in-law asked. "Work hard. Be a good person," Emeka said. "Papa, Mama, please forgive me." "You should ask Adana for forgiveness," her mother-in-law said. "All we want is for Adana and the children to live well." Emeka nodded. He knew some mistakes couldn't be corrected. Some wounds wouldn't heal. All he could do was respect Adana's decision and fulfill his duty as a father. August. Adana became a regular employee in her new job in Calabar, a middle manager at a multinational company. Her salary was higher than before, and the working environment was better. She rented a small office and started taking freelance translation projects. This was her major in college, long forgotten. Now, she was returning to it. Life was busy but happy. Work, taking care of the children, hobbies on weekends, and occasional meetings with friends. Adana's smile returned to her face. A smile from the heart, light and free. September. The children were in grade 2. Adana attended the parent-teacher meeting, sitting in the classroom, staring at her children's seats. Her heart was full. The teacher, a young woman, said, "Ma'am Adana." Kene and Chima adjusted quickly. They get along well with their classmates and study hard. "Thank you, ma'am." But the teacher hesitated. Sometimes they say they miss their father. Adana's heart ached. "I'll keep an eye on it." On the way home, Adana asked the children, "Do you miss Papa?" Kene nodded. "Papa said he would visit us every month, but he hasn't visited this month." Adana texted Emeka. "The children are asking for you. When are you coming this month?" Emeka quickly replied. "Can it be this weekend?" "Yes." That weekend, Emeka came. He took the children to the Science Museum and the amusement park. They played all day. When he dropped the children off that night, he handed Adana an envelope. "What's this?" "Child support." "For this month," Emeka said. "From now on, I'll just deposit it into your account on the first day of the month." Adana accepted. "Thank you, Adana," Emeka said hesitantly. "Is there anything else you want to say?" "Ifioma." She went back to her village with her child. "We broke up." Adana paused for a moment but didn't speak. "I know it's useless to say this now, but I want you to know. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have lied to you. I shouldn't have hurt you." Emeka's voice was faint. "I hope you'll be happy." "Indeed, I will be happy," Adana said. Emeka nodded and turned around. Adana stared at his back. For the first time, she felt that perhaps time could heal some things. Not forgiveness, not forgetting, but letting go. October. Adana met a new friend in Calabar, the father of one of her children's classmates. His name was Dr. Adebayo, and he was also a single parent. He had a daughter. They met at the parent-teacher meeting. After a few conversations, they found they got along well. Dr. Adebayo was a university professor, kind and respectful. He was also kind to the children. "It's not easy raising 2 children alone," Dr. Adebayo said. Adana smiled, accustomed to it. "You too. It's not easy raising a daughter alone." "Let's help each other," Dr. Adebayo said. "This weekend, we can take the children to play together, so they have playmates too." Adana thought about it and agreed. She needed a social life. Her children also needed friends. That weekend, the 2 families went on an outing. Dr. Adebayo's daughter, Zara, was 7 years old, quiet and beautiful. She immediately got along with the twins. Adana and Dr. Adebayo sat on the grass, watching the children. "Does your ex-husband visit often?" Dr. Adebayo asked. "Once a month," Adana said. "He's doing well now. Provides support on time, visits on time." "That's good," Dr. Adebayo said. Whatever the parents' relationship was, the children shouldn't be affected. Adana nodded. She thought the same way. That's why she allowed Emeka to visit. She allowed the children to maintain their connection with their father. It was for the children, not for Emeka. November. Adana got a big project and earned a lot. She took the children on a trip. They went to a place they had long wanted to visit, Dubai. In front of the iconic landmarks, the twins were delighted, posing for photos. Adana stared at them. She remembered herself a year ago in that cold house, listening to her mother-in-law discussing the tuition fees of another child. Now, it was all over. She had a new life, a new job, new friends. Her children were healthy and happy. This was the greatest happiness. Christmas. Dr. Adebayo confessed to Adana. "I know we haven't known each other long, but to me, you are a good woman, a good mother," Dr. Adebayo said seriously. "I want to be with you. Let's raise the children together." Adana didn't answer immediately. She needed time, she needed to think. The wounds from her past marriage were still there. She was afraid to enter a new relationship. "Give me time to think," she said. "Okay, I'll wait for you." New Year. Adana took the children to Lagos to celebrate with her parents. her mother prepared a lavish New Year's feast. "Adana, you've lost weight," her mother said. "You look better thin." Adana smiled. "How about that, Dr. Adebayo?" her father asked. "He's kind, Papa, and kind to the children." "Then think about it," her mother said. "You're still young. You can't be alone forever." Adana nodded. She knew her parents were worried, but she had her own rhythm. After the new year, they returned to Calabar. Life continued. Work, taking care of the children. Occasional dates with Dr. Adebayo. Slowly. According to the flow of life. Spring. Adana's translation agency was officially established. She resigned from her corporate job to focus on her own business. It was difficult, but it was freeing and brought a sense of accomplishment. On the twins' 8th birthday, Emeka flew from Lagos to celebrate with them. He brought gifts, a cake, and a letter for them. "Read it after Papa leaves," Emeka said. The children blew out the candles. "Cut the cake." They were overjoyed. Emeka stared at them, tears in his eyes. "Adana, thank you," he said. "For what?" "Thank you for raising them well," Emeka said. "Thank you for still allowing me to see them." Adana didn't speak. She was doing this for the children, not for Emeka. When Emeka left, the children opened the letter. It was long. Emeka wrote about his longing for his children, his regret, and his promises for the future. "Papa said he will always love us," Kene said. Adana stroked her son's hair. "Papa will always love you, and Mama will always love you. We love Mama." The two children hugged her. Adana embraced her children, her heart full of gratitude. Thank goodness for this trial that strengthened her. Thank goodness for her children who gave her the strength to start anew. Summer. Adana accepted Dr. Adebayo's marriage proposal. No big wedding, just a simple gathering with the two families. The children were happy, saying they had a younger sister. The day they got married, Adana posted on social media, "A new beginning, thankful for everything." The photo was a family picture of the four of them. Emeka liked it. He commented, "Congratulations." Adana replied, "Thank you." Two simple words that contained all the release and forgiveness. Autumn. Adana's agency got a big project. She was very busy, but no matter how busy, she still made time for her children, for her husband. Life was busy but happy. Every day was full of hope. Christmas. Adana took the children to give gifts to her former in-laws. Mama Ngozi had aged. When she saw her grandchildren, tears flowed from her eyes. "Grandma, don't cry." Kene wiped his grandmother's tears. "We miss you. We'll visit often." When they left, Papa Cheek escorted them downstairs. "Adana, forgive us for what happened before," he said. "It's over now, Papa," Adana said. "Take care." Yes, it was over. The deceit, the pain, the tears, it was over. The Adana now had a career, a family, a husband who loved her, and lovely children. She had traveled the darkest road and finally reached the light. In the car on the way home, the children were asleep. Dr. Adebayo held Adana's hand. "Are you tired?" "No." Adana leaned on his shoulder. "I'm happy." Outside the window, the city lights twinkled. Every lit window was a home. Adana also had her own home. This time, it was true, whole, and full of love. She remembered that night a year ago, full of despair. She left with her children. Back then, she didn't know where she was going. All she knew was that she had to leave. Now, she was grateful for her brave self back then. Thank goodness she didn't give up, didn't lose. She chose dignity and freedom. Perhaps this is life. Something is lost, something is gained. There is pain, there is joy. There is an end, there is a beginning. And Adana's story was just beginning. When marriage becomes a beautiful lie, leaving is not an escape, but the greatest self-salvation. A mother's strength is not measured by endurance, but by the courage to protect a new beginning after learning the truth. A true family is not bound by blood, but by the people who choose to stay by your side through any storm. The woman who rose from a double life would rebuild her own kingdom on her own land. This time, the walls were made of dignity, and the crown was from self-worth.